5 reasons not to contribute to your superannuation as an Australian expat. Hi there, Jarrad Brown here, Australian expat financial planner based here in Singapore. Thank you for tuning into my video today. I'm often asked the question by Australian expats, should I contribute to my Australian superannuation fund? My advisor told me not to, my accountant told me to, my parents told me to, my colleagues and friends back in Australia, they're contributing, they're asking why I'm not. My colleagues here are telling me not to because they're doing something else. What on earth should I be doing? So here are 5 scenarios where you shouldn't, or at least should be doing your due diligence, but you shouldn't be, in most cases, contributing to your Australian superannuation fund. Number 1 is if you have a self-managed super fund back in Australia. Now, if you do, and you're an expat, you should absolutely be seeking some advice to ensure that it's actually compliant. But if you're contributing to your self-managed super fund as a non-resident of Australia, chances are you may breach the active members test and face quite harsh penalties. Now that could mean that up to 40% of the balance gets charged as a penalty for breaching that test and making your self-managed super fund non-compliant. So certainly review that one, speak to your accountant, speak to your advisor, make sure that your self-managed super fund is compliant. Number 2 is if you're getting close to the $500,000 superannuation limit. Now, if you breach the $500,000 limit, that means that you can't use the carry forward concessional super contribution strategy of using the last 5 years of unused contributions to roll into super all at once and claim a tax deduction on that full amount. Now, if you're going back to work in Australia, sell a property and realise a large capital gain, that can be a really helpful strategy to keep in the back pocket to actually reduce your tax. So if you're thinking about your repatriation, you're watching your super balance get close to that $500,000 mark, then make sure you're planning ahead. Don't ignore that one. We've seen it time and time again where it costs an awful lot of money because the super balance was $502,000 or $530,000 on the 30th of June. So don't ignore that one. Number 3 is you are definitely not going to retire in Australia, nor are you going to retire in a country where superannuation would be treated or taxed favourably. Now, this is one where you do need to seek some advice from your accountant, from your financial advisor, and look at how your super would be treated based on where you plan to retire. Now, if you plan to retire in a country that is going to tax superannuation, there is no benefits, and you're better off having that money in a different structure, maybe in that jurisdiction, maybe elsewhere, then maybe it doesn't make sense to be contributing to your Aussie superannuation fund. Number 4 is you can invest outside of your super tax-free, whereas inside your superannuation fund, you're going to pay tax of 10 to 15%. Many people don't realise that superannuation, irrespective of where you live, pays a tax rate on capital gains and on dividends of 15%, 1-5, and that is paid on dividends and on capital gains. If shares or investments are held beyond 12 months, that tax rate drops from 15 down to 10%, but that's still more than zero. So we do need to be mindful of the fact that if we can invest outside of super and pay no tax, it may make more sense. And I say may, not definitely would, because you might be getting close to retirement and it still makes sense to incur that tax to get more of your wealth inside super. And number 5 is if you've already maxed out your super, you're at the $1.9 million limit, it doesn't make sense or you simply can't get more money into your superannuation fund in a sensible manner, then it may be time to look elsewhere. So there you have it. 5 scenarios where you maybe shouldn't, of course seek advice as always, but maybe shouldn't be contributing to your Aussie superannuation fund. Thank you for tuning in. Do like the video, subscribe to the channel. Very much appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.